Well, welcome back, everybody. I see Murph's place here survived Cinco de Mayo, it looks like. No casualties, that's always good. And here we are on Taco Tuesday, welcoming you all back for episode 2. So we're delighted to have a couple classmates. Mike and I came on the academy with Paul and Danny here. We're all classmates, and it's great to be together again.
It is.
And Paul here, it's kind of funny. We have the same first name, exact same birth date, went to the same high school. We came on the police department on the exact same day, except in high school, they didn't closely monitor me the last day of senior year. They did my Goomba here. But anyway, and then Danny, he grew up in the same neighborhood as Mike and I, and went to the same grade school as one of us, same high school as the other one. So it's kind of a close-knit thing. It's a small world, I guess. But anyhow, looking back at the academy, Paul, how did you feel, thinking about becoming a police officer and joining the department, that kind of thing?
Well, it was exciting for me because I'd wanted to be a policeman ever since I was in grade school. I knew several policemen that lived on my paper route, so I had a lot of exposure to policemen, and it's what I had always wanted to do. Is from the time I was a kid, it was my interest, and despite my annex at school and having to be sat down in the office and sat on for the last day, a lot of people were surprised that I actually went through and achieved that.
Great.
It did it for 35 years.
Looking back, are you glad it went the way it did?
Would never do it over again. I wouldn't skip doing it over again. Absolutely loved it. I miss it now.
Thanks, Paul. Danny, how about you? How did it feel like wanting to be a policeman or coming on?
Same story. I always wanted to be a police officer. My father worked down. He wasn't a police officer, but he worked in the clerk of court, so I was exposed to police officers all my life. Out of high school, I went to college and got a criminal justice degree. So that was absolutely my course of study. That's exactly what I wanted to be. Unfortunately, I had taken a test in a neighboring city and didn't score high enough, and I thought, well, I better have a plan B. So I actually was in law school and still had taken the Akron test. And one day, a captain on the police department come knocking on my door. I was still living at home with my mom and dad and the rest of my family, and he handed me this letter, and he leaves. And I opened up this letter, and it said I was admitted into the Akron Police Department Academy. And fast forward, that captain turned out to be the captain I first served under when I got on the department, Captain Forgash, who was later a deputy chief. He told me as he was leaving my house, he could hear me yelling all the way down the street because I was so happy after opening that letter. So, yeah, I was thrilled to be an Akron police officer all my life. It's a wonderful career. Never looked back. I'm glad that I had the job.
Thanks a lot, Danny. Say, Mike, why don't you share with the audience what they told us one Friday about not going out and shooting our guns?
We're finally done with all of our gun training that we had to go through, and they're going to issue guns. Remember when they're issuing the guns, it was on Friday afternoon. They said, do not go shoot your gun at a local range. Do not go out and shoot that gun over the weekend. You guys are not proficient with it. We don't want to see anybody getting hurt. And it was kind of like in Top Gun, or not in Top Gun, but A Few Good Men, when they were asking Jack Nicholson if he was clear, and he said crystal. That's kind of how I feel.
Well, it's nice nobody here. Straight from that.
Thank goodness.
Oh, wait a minute. Can hold the phone.
Can you still get in trouble for this?
Oh, why are you laughing so much?
Well, I might have been one of those that didn't follow the rules and went out. I was a horrible firearm. I had horrible firearm skills. So a buddy of mine agreed to take me out. He went into the woods somewhere, and he helped me with gun safety, aiming, shooting, all that stuff. And who would have known? Really, who would have known? Sure enough, Monday morning, they wanted us to all type paper because they found out we use the guns, and we weren't supposed to. So, but I thought my career was over. But thankfully, they just gave us a good tongue lashing at that point. So,
Yeah, that's good because there's a lot of good people in their class and stuff.
yeah.
And then remember when they one more quick academy story when Matt came in, one of our training instructors,
Yeah.
and he had hidden a bunch of weapons on his person. He asked for a volunteer out of our class to search him, see if he could find the weapons. Remember that when that
Oh,
happened?
Yep.
Yeah. And how many did he find?
It was Ya Yang.
Yeah.
Patted him down, found like 7 or 9 different weapons
yeah.
on him.
Yeah, which was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Until he pulled out about another 30. Right? Some more got 2 or 3 more guns and everything.
Yeah.
Trying to emphasize how important it was to do a thorough search, you know. But anyhow, that's enough of the academy stories. I know, Paul, you have a story that you were involved in. You were working by yourself one Christmas Day, actually. And why don't you share with the audience what happened that Christmas Day?
Yeah, well, nobody likes to work on a holiday. We all would prefer to have the holidays off and spend them with their families together. But however, I was working that day, car 13 in Goodyear Heights, and I got a call of a family dispute that I responded to. And when I got there, I could see that there was a lot of tension in the air with the father and the son and the mother. Christmas tree was on its side, decorations everywhere, wrapping paper and presents thrown around the living room, things in disarray. So I immediately started talking to him separately, getting the story from each one, what happened. Well, as it turns out, the son was having a bad time in his life. And he just broken up with his girlfriend. Holiday times are stressful for a lot of people anyways. Long story short, I took the time to keep them apart, talk to them separately. I even helped them pick up the Christmas tree and calm them down, talk to them. More than that, I listened to them and got some good input from the father, the mother, and from the son as to what was going on. I ended up spending quite a bit of time there with them, just talking and calming them down. And by the time I left the call, it was pretty obvious that things were going to be okay on my part. So I left, and at the end of the shift, we're in our check-in roll call, and I had a supervisor who was a little finicky type of person. Wanted to know why I spent so much time on that call. So I explained it to him. He says, well, you spent too much time on that call. He said, well, I'll try not to next time. But as it goes, the following Christmas, a week or 2 after Christmas, I got a letter delivered at the police department to me. It was from this family. And it was rather heartwarming, and I was kind of surprised by it. They took the time to let me know that what I did that day made a difference and had an impact on their lives. The son got his life turned around. He got a job. The thing with his girlfriend went away. He started going back to school at Akron U. And things in their life had improved. And it was because, according to them, I took the time to listen to them and talk to them and calm them down on a Christmas day. And it goes to show that we rarely get follow-up information on the calls that we go on. So we really don't know what impact we have left with people. That was kind of nice of them to do that for me, from my standpoint, and that it let me know that I made a difference.
That's a great story, Paul,
Very nice.
especially on a Christmas day.
On a Christmas day.
Thanks for sharing that. Okay, I know, Danny, you have a story as well. I know we talk about a roller coaster. Police work can be a roller coaster, you know, of emotions and things like that. And Danny, your story, I think, kind of is. Why don't you go ahead and share that?
Yeah, just like the rest of us here, over the course of 33 years of working on the police department, you have funny stories, sad stories, all kinds of stories, but a wonderful career. And actually, the story I have was happened just a few months before I retired. I was it was a early morning. I had just finished with a meeting out in the east side of the city, and a call went out of a non-breather of an infant child. I was literally just blocks away, so I immediately went there. Got there, and the mother was there, and actually this was a twin, and the other twin was fine, but this 2-month-old is not breathing, no heartbeat. and an uncle, the mother's brother, was trying to perform CPR. He was on the phone with one of our call takers, and she was trying to give him instruction on what to do. So at that point, I let her know that I was there and I would take over CPR, which I did. Did CPR until the paramedics came. A couple of other officers came, helped me out. They got this little baby into the med van and got the heart going again. Took the child to the children's hospital. We followed, and we were told that the baby survived. Well, I went into the station because the unsung heroes of our department are those call takers and dispatchers. You know, they're the ones that get these calls originally. They have to calm people down. They have to try to get the facts, the information, not only from them, but to relate to the officers. So I wanted to let that call taker, I knew her very well. So I let her know, hey, excellent job. You talked the uncle through the CPR process. You know, I was able to take over and the baby survived. Fast forward about a week, I had gotten a letter of commendation for the uncle. I wanted to make sure he was recognized for the work he did in saving that baby's life. So I got a letter of commendation from the chief. I took it to the house, knocked on the door. The mother came to the door, and I says, hey, is so-and-so there? And I said, I have a letter from him being recognized for what he did, and how's the baby doing? She says, well, unfortunately, the baby had gone without oxygen for a long period of time, and we had to make the decision to pull the plug. Well, I mean, you could see the blood just drained from me. I mean, I was shocked. We thought we had a success story here. So, you know, I let her know I was very sorry, but still, you know, he was heroic in the work he did. And I gave her the letter of commendation. And I went back to the station and talked to that call taker. And I'll tell you what, the both of us just, you know, embraced and shed tears of sorrow because we thought we had a victory. And unfortunately, that little 2-year-old or 2-month-old didn't survive. And I think what really brought it home for me is that I had a granddaughter at that time that was also 2 months old. So not only did I see it from the community, but you know, you internalize it because I had at the time a 2-month-old who's now going to be 8 years old. But yeah, you know, you have those wonderful times, those great success stories, and you have these stories that just tug at the old heartstrings.
Yeah, that's such a sad ending to a story. And then, like when I said, it's like a roller coaster, but there is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on a ride on a roller coaster and you are click, click, click up the hill, you know the downhill's coming. You don't know the downhill's coming in this job, you know, just like Danny there. And the purpose of what we're trying to do here kind of is, you know, the traditional roles, police officers, you see it on the YouTube, you see it on TV, traffic stops, arresting bad guys, crowd control. Our channel is about the stories you hear, the behind the scenes when you're dealing with family issues and things like that, and the time being a valuable commodity for a police officer. So that's where, and like we said in the first show, we're going to have officers come in, and you're just going to hear the stories right from them. Unrehearsed, we pretty much just, they come in and tell their story. And at the end of the day, when you see the volume that we have brought in, you're going to start to feel like you're part of our family. And that's what we hope happens. So in the meantime, if you like what you're seeing, please try and hit the thumbs up button or subscribe. And until we meet again, thanks for joining us.